Okay, this chick doesn't need any introduction. Does everyone know Kristine Drummond? She's the lead dancer. She doesn't need introduction. She does have a fancy bio, so I better read it out. This chick was my first friend in the business, my first believer, my lone nut, the first follower, and I'm forever in debt to her. And she made every bad day bearable. And I get to call her one of my very closest, dearest friends. And watching her family and her thrive over the past few years, because we did it tough the first few years, we really did. She's an NMD. She's been in the business 5 years and lives an absolutely, she lives and breathes a no excuses life. She's a passionate mum. She loves the flexibility and freedom of working from home. She set out to build enough financial security really from day one to bring her partner home, Tom, who's a fly-in, fly-out worker. And she would have weeks and weeks and weeks at a time of him missing out on very magic moments, and that's always been her vision and passion. She's now home at full-time with their new baby boy, Archer. It's summer, and she's on a mission to help as many other mums and families create this financial and time freedom as well. Please give a huge round of applause for Drummo.
We're all given a certain amount of time to experience life, to carry out our dreams, our destiny. But we don't realize that the time bar of our life can only grow smaller from today going forward. Let that sink in. You can't buy time. You can't grow time. You can't ask for more time. You can only lose time. And after we lose time, we have no idea how much time we even have left. Our lifespan is a mystery. See, being human is a double-edged sword because although we have so much time compared to other species, we give ourselves too much time to accomplish what needs to be done. The idea of having so much more time to accomplish things makes us waste time. We abuse it. It feeds our lack of action. It makes us too comfortable. Now, we all aim to succeed, to prosper, to become a diamond in a world full of rocks, but there's no evolutionary pressure to help us, and that's where the mind shift needs to take place. You need to create a pressure for yourself to become that diamond, and the way that you do that is by understanding the value of time. Stop killing time, because eventually that turns around, and time is going to kill you. You have the power to prevent time loss. You have the power to prevent wasted time. But you also have the power to kill time. And many of us are doing that. Before we make decisions, before we act, we need to think about how we're spending our time. We need to focus on what we want to accomplish, what makes the heart burn with passion, what wakes us up in the morning, what's your why? Time is the most valuable resource we have. I can save money for later. I can't do that with my time. I can invest in more money. I can't do that with time. I can share my money. I still can't do that with time. Stop damaging your lifespan. Sooner or later, you're going to realize that the only thing you wish you have more of is time. But it's what you use the worst. I want to see the transformation of how we use our time. I want to see habit change, the appreciation of the time that you're given, of your dream. I want you to pause the next time you find yourself wasting time on things that damage you and think about why you've decided to shrink your lifespan. You're actually killing yourself. It's not a joke because you can't recycle the time you waste. So use your time and make time work for you. Start living the life of your dreams because it's possible. Pressure builds diamonds, so put up that fight. Don't give in to fear. Don't give in to anxiety. Keep fighting. Keep moving forward. Keep believing. Your dream is yours, and don't let anybody else stop you. You've got 86,400 seconds. How you use them today is all that matters. And you've got to do it again and again and again to soon be living the life of your dreams. You will get there because it's your dream. But you've got to work today so tomorrow you can be one step closer. Do it again and again and again. And I promise you will get there. Intelligence of spending time wisely, because while you're killing time, time is killing you.
Alrighty, who understands the importance of time and who we spend it with? It's a good video, hey? It's a good reminder of us not to kill time, and where we spend it and who we spend it with is so, so important. So, is that first slide up there, mate? Okay. Whew. Yeah, I do. Okay, so I choose to spend my time with these people. That first photo on the left was a defining moment on this journey. Excuse it. Break state. That was at Summer's Special Persons Day at daycare when she was 2. And there was kids in that playground bawling their eyes out because their mums and dads couldn't be there, and everyone else had their mums and dads there. And it's kind of like what Brian's vision is, you know, people having to put their kids in daycare because they've got to go to work. And I took some of them under my wing that day. And I made that promise to that little girl, said that would never be you. You know, Mummy will always be there for you. Come on. And I've stayed true to that. And this business has allowed me to stay true to that. That middle photo, thank you. The middle photo is another defining moment where I just had absolute gratitude. And I brought Tom home in December before Summer's first day of school, and he missed everything in the 5 years of her growing up. Oh, birthdays, weddings, everything, holidays, it was crazy. But he was there that day because in the December before, I brought him home, and for 7 months straight, he was at home full-time with us. And that's another reason why I spend so much time on this business, because it allows me to create those magic moments where he gets to be part of that as well. The last photo is of my parents on New Year's, just gone. My dad has dementia. He's going downhill. But this business gives me the time freedom, the flexibility, the financial freedom to visit him whenever I want. And that's why it's so important, guys, to choose where you spend your time. Okay, I cannot emphasize that enough. And for so long, I didn't put these people first in this business. It was always business first, business first. I had to get there. I had to make it to that next goal. And these guys were put on the back burner, okay? Don't make the same mistake. Please don't make that same mistake. It comes down to your values. You know, why am I talking about values in time management? It's because it's so important to find out what is important to you, where you actually want to spend your time. What do you need in your day to make you feel like you? Okay, and you'll notice the first one on there is yourself. You have to have you time. You have to have that quiet time. You know, there's some really cool values on there that if one of them is missing in my day, I feel like I'm in a funk. I feel like I've lost my mojo. I'm, kind of lost. Exercise, definitely I need that every day. And I missed it this morning, so I'm really glad I got to shake my booty on the stage up here today. I feel like I've done my class for the day. But it's so important to know where your values are because they're going to shape where you spend your time in your day. Okay, there's some big important things in your life, and I'm not going to do this whole presentation, but you've heard it before. You've heard Linda talk about the big rocks, and then all the sand just filters in around it. But if you're a visual person like me, it makes more sense to me when I see it. So these big rocks represent the big things that are important to you, your values. So wouldn't you want to be working on those things, having those things fill your day first? Yeah? So yourself, it needs to go in there. Your family and relationships, major opportunities. You know, we don't want to miss out on those. If they pop up in our day, of course we want to grab hold of those. Health. You know, if that's missing from our day, how do you feel? Holidays and experiences. How many people in here have owned their own business and it was years before they got to take a holiday? Crazy, right? This is what life's about, is to experience. Self, service, contribution. You know, these are some of the big rocks that you probably want in your life, but they've probably been put on the back burner. But if you make room for them, if you put them in your day first, if you align everything with your values, then the menial stuff doesn't matter. You know, things like emails. Ugh. I remember looking at Linda's email on the phone. You know how it comes up with the unread email number? I remember looking at hers one day on her phone. It was like in the hundreds. And that really, like if I've got a couple of emails that are unread, it really does my head in. But I've learnt to let go of that, and I think I'm now in the hundreds as well because it doesn't matter. It's those menial tasks. You know, we don't want to fill our life with things like that. And then the smaller pebbles represent the really small, tiny things that we really don't need to sweat on. Okay, watching TV, playing games, you know. And if I reversed this and did the first part of this and put the small stuff in first, there'd be no room left for the big rocks. Does that make sense? So your values and the big rocks in your life really matter. Okay, and for me, because I was chasing significance and certainty all the time, love and connection and growth and contribution were on the back burner. Okay, but now I've been able to flip that. So figure out what you need in your day to get you in that inspired state. And it's what we call that peak resourceful state. And here's some of the things that I need in my day to get me in that peak resourceful state. You know, I love meditation because it's my quiet time. It's tapping into my inner spirit, you know, getting centered, how Kira said, you know, focusing on that breath. How many mums are in here that wake up to chaos? You wake up, I'm hungry, or wake up, you know. Please don't do that. Try and get up before that. Otherwise, your whole day just seems to be in chaos then. Positive affirmations, I am statements. Again, you heard some awesome ones that Kira had today. Pump-up songs. I've just come back from Tony Robbins last weekend, and oh my goodness, were there some awesome pump-up songs where we had to just shake our ass. Apparently, that's all you got to do to break state and get, you know, inspired. Self-development, and then obviously those high-paying activities. There's no such thing as time management. Did you get that from that video? We can't manage time. It's ticking by, whether we like it or not. You know, every day we're one step closer to our death. I know that's really sad, but how we spend it is so, so important. So when these tasks come up in your day, and Celine's got another term for this, it's the do, dump, delegate. But today I'm going to talk about eliminate, automate, delegate. Okay, so if you have a task, think about it and go, can I actually eliminate this task? Is it important? Do I need to do it? If you can't eliminate it, if it has to be done, can you automate it? Can you come up with a system? Maybe it's going to take you a couple of hours to set the system up, but the investment in that time is going to reward you in weeks and months to come. Okay, so if you can't eliminate it, maybe you can't automate it, then can you delegate it? Can you teach someone else to do it? Okay, now a lot of people don't like to delegate because what does everyone say? No one can do it as good as me. So you might have to go through a little bit of pain until that person gets to the standard that you want. But long term, guys, it's going to save you time, okay? Now, if the task can't be eliminated, if it can't be automated, if you can't delegate it, and one thing that I really highly recommend you strive for is delegating your cleaning in your house. Oh my goodness, that made a big difference. What my cleaner can get done in 2 hours, honestly, takes me 5 or 6. And she loves it. I'm actually giving it to someone, she's so passionate about it, it's not funny. So it's kind of like I'm helping her and she's helping me. It's amazing, win-win. Then at the end, it comes back to you. If you can't do any of these 3 things, then you make a decision. Do I do the task now or do I do it later? Which is what we call procrastinating on purpose. Who here is a procrastinator? Yeah, I'd be a millionaire if I got paid for procrastination. But procrastinating on purpose is different because what you're saying is, I do need to do this task, but now's not the right time. So what it does is it goes back into the funnel. It goes back into eliminate. Can't eliminate it the next time you come across it. Then you try and automate it. If you can't automate it, and eventually what happens to that task that keeps going through that cycle is you get rid of it. It's not that important anymore. Your focus is shifted to something else. So does that make sense? Does that help? Yes? Awesome. One person. Yes, winning. So you've also got to think about how you start your day. And I talk to a lot of successful people and how they start their day, and it's rituals. It is rituals. You've got to start ritualising your life. Now, I've put this together on someone that works a full-time job, okay? Please don't pay too much attention to the time in between 5 and 7. I'm not spending an hour and a half on all that stuff, guys. I just put it in there so that you could see where you can spend your time in the mornings. Now, a lot of people say do the hardest thing first. Who's heard that before? Yeah, do the hardest thing first and you'll stop procrastinating. Now, you might argue, you're not doing the hardest thing first there, Kristine. I'm like, true. Like, I could get up at 5 a.m, bit early to message people in Australia at 5 a.m. and start new conversations, but how about overseas? You know, you might start your day and start a few new conversations overseas at that time. So you've got to figure out what works for you. But for me, I have to get in that inspired state. I don't wake up like that. I've got to put myself in that. Okay, so you've got to do what gets you into that state, that peak resourceful state. And then you'll notice that new conversations come in around 7 o'clock. And then it's like, do your Facebook post. Then you've got family time in there. That's a bit chaotic, breakfast and everything like that. Then work. I really want you to be conscious. Who here is working full time? Cool, quite a few of you. Awesome. I want you to be respectful of your time there. I mean, your employer is employing you to be productive at work. So that's why I've chunked out that time. But on your lunch break, go nuts. That's your time. So if you can make a few phone calls, if you can do a few follow-ups, then why not? That's what we call dead time in our day. You know, you've got to get really savvy with where you're spending it. And then I didn't have a schedule when I came into this business, and I really wish I did. Because when you don't schedule things, guess what? It doesn't get done. Who finds that? Yeah, time to start scheduling. This is just a tool. Okay, this is just a tool. It helped me. It may help you. You don't have to use it. You have to find what works for you. You'll notice there on the Saturday, la-di-da, date night comes in. Celine taught me this from a very early time in the business. You've got to have those date nights in there. You really have to show your partner that it's not all juice plus, especially if they're a bit like this. Make sure you're scheduling in that time. It has absolutely made a difference to my relationship. And you've got to have that day off. I take 1 day off juice plus a week. And when you take that day off, guess what? You still have conversations with people. It just works like that. But I really encourage you to take a day off, refocus, reassess. So this is just one tool that you can use, and hopefully that helps you. It's just a simple spreadsheet. And here's another tool, a daily tick and flick. Okay, and Dion shared this with me. Thank you, Dion. Again, you can change this up. Okay, some of you might not be at this level where you've got branding pages and things like that, but a tick and flick, who loves checklists? Oh, you're going to love this then, okay? So you print a couple of these out for the week and you just go through and you tick it off. So you put through on there your daily method of operation, the things, the high-paying activities that you need to do in your day. And then you just go through and tick it. Okay, incredible, incredible tool. The other thing that my friend Fee bought me once, which was an amazing tool, is this 30-minute timer. Now, I would do Juice Plus for 30 minutes. So I would do follow-up calls for 30 minutes. When that sand ran out, I would do washing and dishes for the next 30 minutes. Then I'd come back, I'd flip it over again. I would do my customer care for 30 minutes. I'd flip it back. I'd go and tidy the kids' room or cook dinner or whatever. So if you're like that and this is going to be a tool that's useful for you, it absolutely was amazing because I'm a visual person and when I'm watching that sand run out, it's amazing how quicker you go with either the housework or the follow-up calls. I think that's the end of those. Yep, awesome. So has this been useful? Are there some tools there that you think, I could probably implement that? You've got to be really, really savvy with your time. And I know for mums it's difficult because we never know what's going to happen with our kids. You know, they are very, very unpredictable. But if you can have some sort of system in place and some sort of process that directs your focus, your business is going to flourish. So what I want you to do is stand up. Quick, quick, quick. Turn to the person next to you. Yell at that person, I will not kill any more time. To choose time is to save time. Time is money. The secret to my future is hidden in my daily routine. Give them a high five. You guys are awesome.